So good morning, Kanchan. Am I audible to you? Am I audible to you? Once you confirm that I'm audible, we can start. So for the last 3 or 4 months, we were going through the text of Organon, starting from the introduction and preface, and then in between we referred to Robert's philosophy, the chronic disease, and we have discussed in detail. Now we are back in the Organon of medicine. The last class we have held before Puja vacation was, I think, up to 127. Okay. So Kanchan, am I audible to you? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for responding. Now, as you are new to our class, let me tell you that these classes are available recorded. Even if you are not able to join it online, you can share, see it. You can attend the lectures in recorded form. Okay, you must have seen there are many lectures from the very beginning, and you should follow those lectures. Okay. What we are doing here in this class has been discussed in the very first lecture of this classroom. Okay, so follow that and you will understand the pattern of our study. For a quick recap, I will say that we are following the textbooks. Okay, like Organon of Medicine, we will refer all the 3 philosophies, and when necessary, we will refer to chronic diseases of Allen's and J.H. Allen, and Materia Medica Pura, and chronic diseases of Hahnemann. When it will be necessary, we will follow those also. Okay, you need not to attend it live always, but some of you should be there in the live class, because our mode of learning, mode of learning is reading. So what happens is one of you read, and then we discussed on that point. Okay, so after completion of practical part, we entered at that period of time to diseases. Okay, knowledge of physician, knowledge of disease, and then we discussed knowledge of disease in general and knowledge of disease in particular. Okay, then in knowledge of disease in general, we referred to chronic diseases by Roberts. Okay, and we have told that this chronic disease is actually by Roberts is the very good explanation for the beginners. Try to grasp that and you will have an idea about using chronic miasms in your practice. Like I have time to time sharing, I am sharing in the group time to time how to use those cases are nothing but to stimulate you to use miasms in your general practice. Okay, by understanding what we have done, we have read, we have understand, and now it's time to apply. The organon is very practical subject, but the thing is that where we are stuck in is reading is boring, a bit difficult. Reading organon is boring. The first thing we used to do at our undergraduate time that नींद नहीं आ रही है, organon पढ़ लो. So that type of stereotype is attached with organon of medicine. Okay, So reading is boring plus difficult. The language is difficult. Because all the translation, all the languages, all the textbook are probably at least 100 years old. Okay, so the Victorian English is used, old English is used, old medical terminologies are used. So reading, the first stumble, first hurdle is to read. That is why we are in this class reading text. Okay, reading, then trying to understand. And what we are doing in group, WhatsApp group, we are sharing some practical cases. Okay, from my practice, day-to-day clinical practice, I am sharing some cases so that you can apply, you can have an understanding of application of these knowledge. Okay, like I have shared that the baby's first illness, one of my patient, 24 days or 1 month she was, and the first illness she suffered was ophthalmia neonatrum. Okay, and we know that the sphere of action from the Roberts philosophy, last chapter on chronic miasm, sphere of action for syphilis is eye, larynx and trachea, meninges, spinal cord, bone. These are the sphere of action. By the sphere of action, we are, and the first illness of the baby, okay, is determining the miasmatic load the baby is carrying. Where from the miasm is coming in the baby? The miasm is inherited by the from the parents. Okay, so the first illness, you will see cases where the first illness of the child was eruption on the body. What does this mean? This means the child has inherited a predominant psoric soil. A predominant psoric soil is inherited by the child from his parents. Okay, so this was the importance of first illness. It is showing the miasmatic load of the baby. Okay, so in that case, case came to me few days back. Ophthalmia neonatrum was there and treated. Okay, but the first illness have told me that this child have predominantly got the syphilitic miasm. So I have to give my medicine according to that. Okay, so that is the what we are trying to do in the group. Okay, we will time to time, as and when these cases are falling to me, I will share those things. Okay, in the practical case taking chapter also, we have shared many tips from the homeopathic conversation. I have referred you a book by Kaplan, okay, a physician in England. His book is Homeopathic Conversation. Okay, the practicality of case taking, how to take the case, we have discussed in detail, and you can refer those lectures back. It is available and it will be available for as long as the Teachment app is there. Okay, so this journey have came to, I think it was 127 we discussed last before the vacation. Is it not? 127. Anyone can remember? We have completed. Yes, Rashmi, are you telling something? You are not audible. Are you telling something? I think it was 127 we have completed. Today we will go to 128. Okay, these classes are extended classes. We have told that we will try and finish our whole syllabus in 3 months time. Okay, and that was not a good guess to complete the whole Organon syllabus from the clinical point of view in 3 months of time. So we have extended these classes to 2 days a week live classes. Okay, no, 107. No, we have completed that. We have completed that. Okay. Curative power 100.07. Okay. 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 I saw the last lecture where we are discussing about the medicinal action in the sexual sphere. That is why I think we have I have referred that 127. So 100.07 we have completed. Yes. Chal. We will start from that. 100.07 we have completed, as Rashmi is telling. So these classes are 2 days. We will take these class 2 days a week, Wednesday and Sunday, from 10 to 11 a.m. We will try and take all these live classes 2 days a week. If you missed these, you can have the recorded lecture. You can refer to that. If you have any question, you can ask me personally or in group. Okay, we will try to follow our step of understanding organon, reading, understanding, and application. Okay, so first few lectures are the introduction for this course. Actually, the first, refer to the first 2-3 lectures and you will get what we are trying to do. Okay, so 100.08, someone please read it for us. Rashmi, can you read it for us?
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Okay, you are audible.
There is therefore no other possible way in which the peculiar effects of medicines on the health of individuals can be accurately ascertained. There is no sure, no more natural way of accomplishing this object than to administer the several medicines experimentally
Okay,
in
wait
moderate
here.
doses.
Wait here. I have told you that you have to, whenever you are reading Organon, you have to follow the punctuation. Why are not following the punctuations? There are commas and you are not waiting there.
Yes, sorry,
Okay?
sir.
When reading Organon, already it is very difficult. So try to read it with the punctuation and you will get the gist. Okay. So no sure, no natural way. Underline this. No sure, no natural way. What does this mean? No sure means people were there, how people were getting the medicines. Okay, from the very beginning, man on the earth is trying to heal himself by the herbs, by some medicines, trying to heal himself. But how he is getting these knowledge that this particular herb is useful in particular kind of disease? That was not sure, but still people were pondering upon those things. Like man discovered cinchona for malaria, not knowing that cinchona is similar to malaria. Okay, but how they were discovering this? One method of discovering was hit and error method, trial and error method. ये मेडिसिन दिया, ये मेडिसिन दिया, ये दिया, वो दिया, ऐसे करके. This was a method. Other method what? Doctrine of signature. Okay, you have heard about that. People are saying that this is on the euphrasia. Euphrasia is good for eye because it leaves are of eye shaped. Okay, so no sure method, but there were some methods before that people were discovering, and by chance we have discussed in introduction, while we were discussing that by chance people were stumbling over the similia also. Okay, getting the miraculous result from certain medicine, like happened to cinchona, like happened to many other medicines which the old school was claiming that it is curing such and such disease, but later on it was found that this was due to their similar nature, their similar principle. It was happening. Okay, later on it was found, but how it was discovered? It was discovered by chance. It was discovered by doctrine of signature, but these are not the sure methods. Okay, what is the sure methods? First, Hahnemann knew that similia similibus curantur. Okay, like is curing like cures like. He knew the principle. Now, how to find what is there in the medicine which can treat a disease? Just give it to a healthy person, note down the symptoms. Okay, what we are doing during our treatment of patient, what we are doing, we are actually matching the symptoms of disease with the symptoms of medicine. This is similia, is it not? This is not similia, this is not similia. What we are doing, we are doing this. Okay, so we know this is disease, we know by case taking. Okay, this is the disease, but this is the medicine. How we are knowing this? How we are knowing this? We are knowing this by proving on the healthy organism that this medicine is capable of producing these symptoms. Now apply. Okay, this is the surest method of knowing what is there in medicine curable, what is there in medicine, what is their therapeutic effects of medicine. Okay, this is the surest method. There were other methods, but that was not sure. No sure method, no way of knowing what is there in medicine which can cure. Again, knowledge of medicine, we have divided how many types? Knowledge of medicine, anyone can remember?
In general and in particular.
What is in general and what is in particular?
Uh, in particular, I think it is drug proving.
Yes.
In general, I
In
don't
general
remember.
is pharmacy part. In general is the pharmacy part. That animal kingdom you are dividing, the vegetable kingdom you are dividing, the mineral kingdom you are dividing, how to preserve such and such medicine, such group of medicine. Those are in general. How to preserve this venom, how to prepare these minerals, how to prepare these animals, how to prepare the imponderabilia. Okay, these are in general. Again, but in particular, each medicine has its particular effect. Okay, that is in particular, and knowing that is essential for a physician. All the 1100 symptoms of nux vomica, okay, you should have at least in your book. If it is not in your brain, it's okay, but you should know all the symptoms nux vomica is able to produce. Okay, this is knowledge of medicine in particular. Knowledge of medicine in particular. Okay, nux vomica, what kind of fever it can produce, what kind of alternation of temperament it can produce, what kind of diarrhea it can produce, what kind of respiratory distress it can produce. Okay, all these are knowledge of medicine in particular. Okay, that is the drug proving. That is the drug proving. Now here, medicine experimentally. Now read next.
In moderate doses to healthy persons in order to ascertain what changes, symptoms, and signs of their influence each individually produces on the health of the body and of the mind. That is to say, what disease elements they are able to tend to produce. Able and tend to
Wait,
produce.
they say health of the body and of the mind. Underline this. Moderate doses, healthy persons. Underline this. Now, what disease elements? That is the combination of signs and symptoms. Okay. Next.
That is to say, what disease elements they are able and tend to produce. Since, as has been demonstrated, aphorism 24 to 27, all the curative power of medicine lies in this power they possess of changing the state of man's health and is revealed by observation of the latter.
Underline, all the curative power of medicine lies in this power they possess of changing the state of man's health. Underline up to this. What is curative in medicine? That is the morbific in medicine. Okay. Okay. In this footnote, Hahnemann is telling about Albert von Heller. Albert von Heller. Underline that. He was the first to advise about animal proving. Okay. Not one single physician, as far as I know, during the previous 2,500 years, okay, have advised this drug proving except Albert von Heller. Who was Albert von Heller? Albert von Heller was again a alumni of Vienna, where Hahnemann have studied. Okay, Vienna. We have discussed the University of Vienna in a few first few classes, and there we have mentioned about Albert von Heller. Just underline that. Now come to next aphorism.
I was the first that opened up this path, which I have pursued with a perseverance that could only arise and be kept up by a perfect conviction of the great truth, fraught with such blessings to humanity that it is only by the homeopathic employment of the medicine that the certain cure of human maladies is possible.
Okay, leave it. I was the first to open up this path. Which path? Which path?
Drug proving.
Drug
Proving on healthy
So
individuals.
it is the continuation of the aphorism, continuation of the footnote. Sometime you will see in the Organon of Medicine that rather aphorism is interrelated, and sometime you will see that the footnote is continuing there. So we have read in footnote that no single physician in last 2,500 years have told this. Now it is a continuation of that footnote. I was the first. Which path? The path of drug proving. Okay. Now go to footnote number 2. Footnote number 2.
It is impossible that there can be another true, best method of curing dynamic diseases, that is, all diseases not strictly surgical, besides homeopathy.
Okay. Again and again we have told this. Wherever you are getting this mode of narration, you will get an exception. That exception is surgical.
Surgical.
Next.
Just as it is impossible to draw more than one straight line between two given points. He who imagines that there are other modes of curing diseases besides it could not have appreciated homeopathy fundamentally, nor practiced it with sufficient care, nor could he ever have seen or read cases of properly performed homeopathic cures, nor, on the other hand, could he have discerned the baselessness of all allopathic modes of treating diseases and their bad or even dreadful effects. If, with such lax indifference, he places the only true healing art on an equality with those hurtful, with such lax indifference, he places the only true healing art on. Oh, sorry. He places the only true healing art on an equality with those hurtful methods of treatment, or alleges the latter to be auxiliaries to homeopathy, which it could not do without. My true consensus followers, the pure homeopathists, with their successful, almost never failing treatment, might teach these persons better.
Auxiliaries to homeopathy, that means belladonna bhi do, paracetamol bhi do, meri dawa bhi do, allopathic bhi do. Okay, that is auxiliaries to homeopathy. That Hahnemann is telling 200 years ago, that cannot stand true nowadays because of lots of legalities, and they have made homeopathy a complementary medicine. Okay, they have made homeopathy an auxiliary medicine to the established practice of medicine. Is it not? So you yourself have become auxiliary to their treatment. Okay, how can you fraud these footnotes? So this has been written 200 years ago with passion, that there is no true method. Yes, there is no true method. We can say that allopathic cannot cure. Okay, but those methods are needed. Okay, you cannot go in public and deny like this. Okay, so shed out this peculiar stereotyping homeopath's attitude. Clear? Sometimes antibiotics are needed, sometimes their methods are needed, but these are only for the time being. We have discussed while we were discussing acute diseases. Okay, in the introduction, from the introduction, we have discussed this a lot, that what is happening, and this sort of treatment what is doing, not only they are not curing the disease, okay, the chronic one, acute one we have discussed. Then in acute cases, acute will run itself, and what allopathic treatment was doing, it was just giving support. पेन हो रहा था, हेडेक था, फीवर था, for viral was for 3 days. What patient took? Patient took a simple paracetamol which gave him relief for 3 days, and it soothes the way for acute disease. Okay, चला गया वहां से निकल के, patient चला गया. But in cases of chronic diseases like migraine, how long you have to take the treatment? Okay, there is no end because it is chronic disease. We have discussed it in detail. Try and follow the previous lecture, you will get it. How long you will have to take? Okay, one time convulsion हुआ, चला गया. Hyperpyrexia हुआ था, convulsion हुआ था, चला गया. You have somehow controlled with your allopathic medicine. But in cases of these epilepsy, how long patient have to take medicine? There is no end. What it was doing in acute diseases, it was just soothing the way for smooth traveling of vital force through that phase. Okay, but in chronic diseases, it is not only not curing the chronic disease, but also it is producing some bad effects. Okay, some bad effects are there, which again is going to form an artificial chronic disease. We have dealt that artificial chronic disease is not only during the Hahnemann's time, it is found in our time also. Artificial antibiotic disease. Okay, people taking antibiotic regularly suffers from diarrhea. You need not to give the patient medicine. Just ask the patient to take lots of yogurt and wait and watch. People taking anticonvulsive medicines and getting dull. This is artificial disease. Steroid and getting some complication. This is artificial disease. And you have to deal with that. What is the method of dealing with these artificial disease? We have studied previously that it cannot be remedied by natural healing art, but by vital force itself. So you have nothing to do except wait and watch. You have nothing to do with these kind of artificial diseases which allopathic medicines are producing. Okay, be clear in your mind that in some acute cases, in some very acute cases or acute subacute cases, allopathic medicines are doing wonders. Okay, all of a sudden pain gone, all of a sudden fever gone. But your medicine can also do wonder in that case if the patient is willing to give you some time. Okay, but if the patient is not willing to give you some time, then it's better to refer the patient. What you will do in typhoid cases? Okay, you know the typhoid have 4 weeks of duration, natural duration. You cannot ask the patient, the antibiotics are available and it will cure, means it will not actually, it will lessen the bacterial load and will smoothen the or cut short the typhoid fever. Antibiotic, you cannot deny the role of antibiotic in that. Okay, this typhoid fever can be controlled with homeopathy also, but you need some patience and some time. But people have not this, so better to diagnose typhoid cases. You can refer after first week, or after 10 days. It's better to refer the patient in typhoid cases. Okay, after 10 days, if the fever is not getting control with your medicine, and it is always we have been told by our teachers that it is always the fault of the homeopath, not the homeopathy. Okay, and this treatment available in allopathic, the antibiotic patient is taking and getting cure in you can say getting rid of that disease in 3-4 days. So in some cases, in some acute cases, allopathic are helpful. Hahnemann have accepted this in Organon also, that they are soothing the ways for traveling of vital force. But in chronic diseases, there is no answer but the homeopathy. Okay, there is no answer but the homeopathy. Now read the aphorism number, footnote number 3.
The first fruits of these labors, as perfect as they could be at that
Which,
time, I recorded the drug proving thing.
very good.
I recorded in the Fragmenta de Viribus Medicamentorum Positivis, Sive in Sano Corporo Humano Observatis.
Okay, this was published in 1805 from Leipzig. The first fruit, underline this, first fruit, and this is fragmenta. It is in Latin. Those who are preparing for their MD examination must know that it was in Latin, containing 27 drugs in fragmenta. 27 drugs. Okay, and why it was written in Latin? Later on, all the published work of Hahnemann was in German, but this fragmenta de Veribus was in Latin. Hahnemann hold it. Why it was written in Latin? Because Hahnemann hold it as something sacred, and the Latin was a court language at that time. Like here, those people who are speaking English are held high in the society, like that only. Okay, those who are speaking Latin at that time were held high in the society. That is why it was one of the most probable reason Hahnemann published this work in Latin, containing altogether 27 drugs. Next, more mature, underline this, more mature. That is chronic diseases. In chronic diseases, German name of that chronic diseases is, and then, sorry, not chronic diseases, Materia Medica Pura. Riley Alzi material is Materia Medica Pura. Okay, second, third, fourth, and then dry chronicen. This is chronic disease. Okay, so all these, fourth part of second, third, and fourth part of dichronicin. This is chronic diseases. First part was about theory. Chronic disease have two parts, practical and theoretical. Practical parts containing medicines, containing provings of the drug. Okay, first fragmenta, then Materia Medica Pura, and then chronic disease. You are getting the records of proving. But thing is that in chronic diseases, Hahnemann included lots of clinical symptoms also. But Materia Medica Pura is purely that proving symptoms. Purely proving symptoms are there in Materia Medica Pura. Okay, more mature fruits. Now, come back to 110. Aphorism number 110.
I saw, moreover, that the morbid lesions which previous authors had observed to result from medicinal substances when taken into the stomach of healthy persons, either in large doses given by mistake or in order to produce death in themselves or others, or under
Okay, wait
oth-
here. Wait here. Uh, I saw moreover the morbid lesion, means I observed the previous authors, what previous authors have to tell about such and such drug when taken into stomach by healthy person, either in large dose given by mistake. By mistake is by accident. Large dose, physician have given his patient more than the necessary, so this will produce a morbid lesion, and that has been recorded. Okay, this is accident, or in order to produce death in themselves, this is suicide. Okay, After taking poison, the person is dying, and those physicians who are standing there, they noted the symptoms. This is suicide, death in themselves or others. This is homicide. This is homicide. Or under circumstances accorded very much with my own, or under other circumstances. इसके अलावा भी कुछ हो सकता है. Though those observation by those physicians accorded with very much with my observation when experimenting with the same substance on myself and other individuals. Underline this. Same substance on myself and other healthy individual experimenting with the same substance. That substance have been recorded their accidental poisoning, suicidal poisoning, homicidal poisoning, or any other kind of under other circumstances. Okay, next.
These authors give details of what occurred as histories of poisoning and as proofs of the pernicious effects of these powerful substances, chiefly in order to warn others from their use, partly
Underline
as
this.
also.
Histories of poisoning. Underline this. Histories of poisoning. What is this? History of poisoning. You will get this poisoning symptoms also in Allen's encyclopedia. Okay. History of poisoning.
Partly also for the sake of exalting their own skill when, under, under the use of the remedies they employed to combat these dangerous accidents. Health gradually returned, but partly also when the person so affected died under their treatment, in order to seek their own justification in the dangerous character of these substances, which they then termed poisons.
Okay, see, this is single sentence. This is single sentence. You will encounter these kind of single sentences many places in Organon of Medicine. From here, these authors to this. This is single sentence plus this is a complex sentence. Okay, so we will break it. 3 reasons Hahnemann is telling. Chief reason Hahnemann was telling that to warn others. Okay, next reason exalting their own skill, that ये poison है, इसी से हमने इलाज किया. Exalting their own skill, that I have used this medicine in such and such disease and the disease was cured. And third, for seek their own justification. ये patient मर गया, इसमें मेरी कोई गलती नहीं है. The drug reacted to that patient. Okay, there are drug reaction. सबको तो नहीं हो रहा है, सबको तो दे रहे हैं, सबको नहीं हो रहा है, but this patient have died. This is drug reaction to that, or poisonous effect have been seen, that medicine is poison, to seek their own justification anyhow. So this is a single sentence ended here. Next sentence.
None of these observers ever dreamed that the symptoms they recorded merely as proofs of the noxious and poisonous character of these substances were sure revelations of the power of these drugs to extinguish curatively similar symptoms occurring in natural diseases.
Underline this. Revelation of the power of these drugs to extinguish curatively similar symptoms occurring in natural diseases.
That these their pathogenetic phenomena were intimations of their homeopathic curative action, and that the only possible way to ascertain their medicinal powers is to observe those changes of health medicines are capable of producing in the healthy organism. For the pure, peculiar powers of medicines available for the cure of disease are to be learned neither by any ingenious a priori speculations, nor by the smell, taste, or appearance of the drugs, nor by their chemical analysis, nor yet by the employment of several of them at one time in a mixture prescription in diseases.
Wait here.
It was
Again a complex sentence. Okay. This is a common mode of Hahnemann when trying to explain something or trying to coming to a point, what he do? He just brush out all these things. इससे भी नहीं होगा, इससे भी नहीं होगा, इससे भी नहीं होगा, बचा क्या? तो इसी से होगा. Okay? Neither this, neither that, neither that. Again, this one is remaining and this will do. So ingenious means clever or philosophical. A priori. A priori we have discussed before experimenting, before knowing, means before experimenting, beforehand, that this will do this, this will heal this, or this will cure this, that thing. Okay, so these are not going to help you to know that knowledge you are required to know. Okay, what knowledge you are required to know? The pathogenetic effect of medicine, and this is the only possible way. What was next?
It was never suspected that these histories of medicinal diseases would one day furnish the first rudiments of the true, pure materia medica.
Underline this:
Which from the
histories of medicinal diseases, histories of medicinal diseases, or histories of poisoning. Okay, ऊपर में था ना, histories of poisoning. Now histories of medical diseases would one day furnish, underline this, first rudiments of true pure materia medica.
which from the earliest times until now has consisted solely of false conjectures and fictions of the imagination, that is to say, did not exist at all.
Okay, so this is one of the means we have read in introduction about discordance. We have detailed means some discussion on discordance, that Hahnemann have means slander each and every physician of before his time, that there were no materia medica. But Discordus was a physician whose materia medica even Hahnemann have appreciated. Even M.L. Tyler was having a copy of Discordus materia medica. We have seen in Allium cepa, you will get an indication by Discordus. What is that? In Allen's keynote. In Allen's keynote, an indication by Discordus. Discordus was a physician. So his materia medica is so revered by all our stalwarts. So it is standing alone. There were some efforts to make materia medica, old materia medica, pretty means like not falling on the conjectures. Okay, like Cinchona. Why Cinchona is curing malaria? People in materia medica was telling. Cullen's materia medica, what he was telling, it is able to cure malaria because of its bitter taste. So this is what? This is conjectures. So Hahnemann was trying to separate husk from the wheat. Okay, he was trying to separate. So this is materia medica pura by drug proving. So what was, but in this also we have to remember that there were some physicians whose materia medica was good and still used by some of our stalwarts, because they were giving the clinical symptoms as observation. They were not proving the medicine, but they were giving that this is helpful. Like Allium cepa is helpful in rubbed feet, sore feet. Okay, this is the indication given by Discordus. Like many indications you will get in M.L. Tyler also, and some other books also, that many indications which are clinical. Definitely those are not conjectures, they are clinical fact, and you can use those. Okay, so saying that all materia medica was false and conjecture is not good. There were physicians like Discordus who were giving some clinical symptoms, practical materia medica. Okay, so we will stop here. We will meet on Wednesday 10 a.m. and we will start from here. Any question you are having, you can ask. Anyone having any question? So as usual, सबको सब समझ में आ गया? Thank you. Any question if you are having, you can ask in the group or you can ping me personally. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.